Hi, everybody. How are you? It's Lori from Real Beauty Is. I'm so excited. I feel like I say that all the time. I'm so excited, but I'm extra excited today because I have with me a special treat for you, and it's Masha, Masha, Masha. Hi, Masha.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Lori. I'm always excited to connect with you. I love you.
Thank you. I feel like we have magic together. It's a beautiful thing.
We do. We have so much fun together.
Yay. So today we are actually going to get right to the point. We're going to stay really focused because today we're sharing strategies with you that are all about anchoring into self-love and the importance of self-love. So I just want to start, Masha, by asking your perspective and your wisdom on why is it so important? Why should we care about self-love? Should that be the root of where we are trying to live from?
Because once you've mastered or once you begin, we never really master anything, because we're here to learn and whatever. So once you start really tapping into self-love, then you can really love other people. And then things really start to flow into your life. So the relationship with self is the most important one because, let's face it, you're born into yourself and you die.
Yeah.
So this whole thing is your responsibility, our responsibility.
Yeah.
So once we learn how to anchor in, like you said, and learn to love and accept ourselves, then we are not reaching out into the world and blaming other people for our problems. We're not, we let go of judgment. Mm-hmm. And when we let go of all those things, we live a life that is basically heaven on earth.
Yeah, I think it was Marianne Williamson who said that the most important relationship you ever have is the one you have with yourself.
Yes.
And so just to kind of reiterate, like you absolutely feel that in order for you to feel in love with your life, in order for you to, manifest what you want, in order for you to create the vision of whatever your best life is, it's imperative to root into and to live from this place daily of self-love. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And look, sometimes like it happens where, there's some days where you love yourself more than others, and you can see what happens when you're not fully engaged and accepting of yourself.
Yeah.
It starts to bleed out a little bit.
Yeah, so this is a good point. So
Okay.
let's talk about that. So how do you know when you're not anchored into self-love? What happens?
Well, all of a sudden, the people around you are just showing up and triggering you all over the place, and you're lashing out. Mm-hmm. You're impatient with yourself. You feel, I don't know, when it happens to me, I just feel like all like nervy, like almost as if like I don't feel good in my body.
You don't feel grounded and sort of at rest with who you are.
No, I'm future tripping then, I'm thinking about the past, I'm not present. It's like almost as if like my mind is just elsewhere, and it's not a nice feeling. It's like the opposite of buzz. It's a buzz, but not a good buzz.
Yeah, I kind of described it when I was thinking about my story and sort of the shift that I went through. Like, I describe it as feeling off all the time. Like, I felt like I'm just sort of like a watered down version of me, and I'm sort of doing what I think I'm supposed to do, but nothing's really connecting and nothing's feeling like it's going smoothly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
What happened for you, if you can just share like a really quick, version of how did you know that you were off? And did you have a moment where you kind of woke up to maybe I'm not loving myself enough?
It was when I just noticed my self-talk. Yeah. And it was so, I just was down on myself for everything, or blaming other people for the way that I was feeling and not taking responsibility. And just, I just had this like wake up call one day, and it was like, take responsibility, love yourself, and everything else will unfold. Accept yourself, love yourself. And
I feel like for people that are not sort of there yet, like maybe even just there with their faith, that if you can surrender to this place, that it really does, it sort of creates the energy and the power that you need to move forward. Like, would you explain to somebody who doesn't really, it's so easy to say, like, just love yourself and, like, everything will start to get better. And even though I feel like that's true, like, that's what you have to do. How do you cross over to that place of, like, okay, what's like a top strategy for, like, helping someone believe that loving yourself is the most important thing, and what's one most important step that someone can take to get there?
Okay, so number one, like the kind of hit yourself over the head type of thing is that love makes the world go round. So when we start with the love of self and accepting ourselves first, then all those other relationships out there will, I promise you, get fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So, instead of blaming your mom, your dad, this or whatever, whoever, if you start with just examining your own relationship. And one of the strategies that I found was just sitting down and getting to know myself and meditating.
Yeah.
I know you're a mom, I'm a mom. I know that often, like, we say things like, I can't even hear myself think. So you don't even know, most of us are walking around, we don't even know what's going on in our head.
Yeah.
We don't even know who we are anymore. We know that our husbands may not like fish. We know that our children may not eat peas, but, and they don't like whatever it is.
We know exactly how to please someone else.
Yes.
Right? But
then you forget, how do you please yourself? Like, what are the things that you like? Like, for a really long time there, I kind of lost myself. Like, I was like, always thinking about what other people's needs were and not what I like to do.
Yeah.
Turns out that, Macha likes to meditate. Macha likes to work out every single day.
Yeah.
Macha, all of these things that make me who I am. So that's like step one is, and why it's important is get to know yourself.
Right.
Who are you? What do you like? I heard something on Oprah yesterday. She was interviewing Carrie Underwood.
Uh-huh.
And she was saying that Deepak Chopra asked Oprah in another conversation, said, who are you really? Like, forget about these, who we are right now. Who are you really?
Should be, right?
Right. What's your essence?
Yeah.
Find that out. That's self-love.
Mm-hmm. No, I think I think we get tripped up so often in thinking about maybe an expectation we're holding on to from the past about who we thought we would be.
Right.
Maybe how our life was supposed to work out. Mm-hmm. And so if we're not living into that vision, even if it's a vision that doesn't serve us, I think then everything sort of becomes a mess, and we begin to lose sight of who we even were when we first started out and what we really wanted for ourselves. There's so much distraction out there.
I know, absolutely. So that's why meditation, part two of your question, is a wonderful strategy is to sit and meditate, get to know what your thoughts are. So I kind of went off on a tangent there, but once I started to really sit and even for like 3 or 4 minutes, mm-hmm. and just really find out what the thoughts were in my head, and then journaling a little bit, yeah. and talking to close friends. This began like my my journey within, and I became fascinated with
yeah.
what was going on.
I feel like that's such a good. It's so powerful, and maybe it's a softer way to even present like loving yourself, because I think it's important for women who are watching this to realize that, like, you don't just, I would say for the most part, maybe there's women out there that this has happened, but you don't just all of a sudden wake up and go, oh my God, now I get it. I so love myself. Like, it's not like flipping a switch, that it is about this journey within. So I think if this concept of really anchoring into loving yourself is sort of scary and it's uncertain and you don't know how to get there, that the first step that you just pointed out, which is amazing, is just about getting to know yourself. You don't have to fall in love with yourself all of a sudden right away. But it's like, who am I? How do I tap into? How do I begin this journey? Mm-hmm. So for you, I mean, this strategy of, okay, I'm going to offer myself this gift of 2 to 3 minutes, whatever it is, every day, to get quiet, to maybe sit in meditation, to think on who you are and what you want.
Mm-hmm. And to tune in to what you're feeling. Your feelings are so important. Like, we're walking around all day, we don't even know what we're feeling because we don't take the time to ask ourselves. Like, I would ask you, Lori, because I love you and you're one of my closest friends. I would ask you, how are you feeling today? What's going on with you? Are you okay? Mm-hmm. You had another baby. How is that? I would be asking you what your life is about. Right. I would do that as a friend.
Right.
Every one of us owes ourselves that same courtesy, that same respect, that same love.
Yeah.
That acknowledgement.
Yeah.
I matter. What's going on inside here?
Yeah. So I think that's another thing of these, I feel like when you talk and the work that I do with clients too, like, it always comes back to these sort of power mantras. I feel like they're so helpful.
Right.
You just like dished out like probably a million of them already, but even just this concept of I matter. I think that it's important to point out that this journey is wild, and it's tumultuous and it's filled with all, when you're getting to know who you are, it's messy and dirty and painful and challenging and exhilarating, and it's full of all these amazing emotions, and that all of these emotions are part of the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this acceptance of, what, if you really believe that you do matter, if you really do want to create sort of the best version of yourself in this world, then this is the place that you have to get to. You have to believe that you matter. You have to believe that understanding who you really are is exactly the energy that's going to take you where you want to go. So what do you do? I want to ask you, like, what do you do when you have difficult emotions, and you're sort of maybe having some days where you're feeling confused or lost or depressed or anxious, because this is all part of the journey. What strategies do you use to kind of ground you back into some?
Well, just so everyone knows, I have days like that all the time because
Me too.
because you know what, the dark is part of the light and whatever. Like, we're human, flesh, blood, stuff. There's stuff going on here, and we're souls, and there's a lot of stuff. So anyway, so what I do is I sit with it. For a really long time, I ran away from it. Or I would try to use like positive stuff, like I feel good, I feel great. Blah, blah. No, I felt like crap.
Like faking it until you make it, right?
Right, and that doesn't really work. So it does on some level, but when you have those feelings, the same way that if you came to me and said, "Mosh, I'm just having a really lousy day. Can I talk through it?" I'll be like, "No, Lori, come on.
You're supposed to be, happy all the time."
Yes, I want you to look in the mirror and say, "I'm happy, beautiful, loved, and I'm together." Just whatever. I wouldn't do that to you. You would hang up the phone on me. But I would say to you, "Lori, what are you feeling? What's going on? What's happening?" So what I'll do is I'll go into whatever space. Right now I happen to be in that space that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And I will sit. I'll put on some music. I'll cry it out, or write it out or whatever. And boom, there you have it. Last weekend I wasn't feeling good. I lost my voice. I was sick. I couldn't go to this party I wanted to go to. My husband went without me, which was totally fine. But I was just feeling sorry for myself. And that Sunday, I was still feeling not so good. And it was Mother's Day, and there was all this stuff going on. And I came home, and I just, I needed to cry. I went into my room. I cried. Afterwards, I just went. I washed my face. I gave myself a little one of these everything's gonna be okay or whatever, and then I felt better.
Yeah.
I gave myself what I needed. I didn't go to my husband and say, "Hug me, love me."
Right.
No, I gave it.
Or act it out in some negative way with the people around you.
No, I took full responsibility for my crummy attitude and for not feeling up to par, and went and sat with it.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is run from it, because it will find you.
Yeah.
It will come back.
I feel like you keep coming back to this discussion and this concept. I think obviously comes back to this place of self-acceptance, that whatever it is that you're going through, because I know that's one of the things and one of the gifts that you give to me all the time is that, when I come to you and I tell you, what I'm wrestling with, what I'm struggling with at the moment, I feel like your, sort of biggest, most powerful advice to me, and what I tap into when I'm not able to talk to you, is that, you're perfectly where you need to be right now. And I think that's so valuable, is calm down. You are who you are. This is a process. You are exactly where you need to be. And instead of, what you're talking about is fighting against the hard stuff only makes it, I feel even stronger. It drives more energy to it. That you are such a master at this is who you are right now. And so in order to wrap your arms around that and practice acceptance, that's where your power is.
Because we have to accept ourselves the same way, if you're feeling I don't know, if you're feeling negative or you're feeling like a brat, acknowledge that. Hey, I'm feeling all over the place right now. And then afterwards, just bring yourself back, relax, give yourself love. The same way, if I came to you and I said, "Lori, I'm just having a tough day," you would embrace me. You would, we would talk it out, hug it out.
Yeah. These strategies, this conversation has been so helpful and so important. And I want to just end on, a really positive, powerful note. So if you could explain to somebody just very quickly, what does it feel like when you actually are grounded into self-love, what begins to happen for you and in your life?
You get this inner swagger, like just this inner confidence that whatever life tosses at you, you can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a sense of peace. It's a sense of connectedness with other people.
I love that.
When I'm not in my true self, I feel like I'm like, in the outside, looking into the cozy environment, being like, let me in, That's but when I'm feeling in self-love, I'm in there with everybody.
Yeah, and I think it feels too like you're sort of maximizing, like you're living as best you can in the moments that you're given, that you're not sort of feeling like time has gotten away from you or you can't catch up or you're, looking outside yourself and sort of seeing what everybody else is doing and that you've lost sight of, what you wanted and who you really are.
No, you're in the present moment. That's really the best way to describe it, is being very present, feeling very good about being in my body and being who I am. And
love it.
Yeah. I mean, I had this moment yesterday of just sheer gratitude for just how far we've come as a world to be able to have these beautiful conversations and to have so much gratitude running around. And you look on Facebook and there's just so much positivity out there and so much love that I felt so grateful for that.
Something that you're triggering for me as you say that is that when you are grounded in self-love, that it changes the way you see everything. And as you were saying sort of the Facebook thing, I felt like I could hear people saying, oh, there's so much negative stuff on Facebook, or like there's so many negative things happening in the world. And sure, like there's negative things happening in the world, but when you're so grounded into this place of love, that's what you see in return as well. And I think for each and every one of us that is grounded into that place, that there's no greater gift that we can give ourselves or the world, that when everybody begins to make this shift, it's miraculous. I mean,
right.
It's amazing.
Because when you see the negative things out there, it's not like you're burying your head in the sand. It's just that you have a different eagle perspective of it. You understand everybody's journey so much more, and you drop the judgment. That's really what I can say, is that, the judgment.
Yeah, I think I want to leave on this note because I think it's important to emphasize, too, that you don't always have to like yourself, right? Like there's moments where we go through and we're like, like maybe you're not liking how things are unfolding, or maybe you don't like how you just reacted to your husband or your kid or whatever it is, but that you can always get mindful and sort of bring yourself back into this place of love, that you can be in love and still have moments of very much sort of being in this process and being in practice of sort of just evolving and working and growing.
Because those moments where you don't like yourself, those are indications that you can make things better.
It's the opportunity, right?
The opportunity right there. It's that opportunity where you're just like, you know what? I was really impatient with the kids, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I need to center myself a little bit more, and I'm going to implement this new method.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And I love that because I think one of the things you've always helped me better understand is this concept that everything sort of is our lesson. So if we looked at the world that way, that whatever you're going through, good or bad, what's the lesson? What's the lesson? What did we need to learn in this moment? And when you look at life like that, you are grounded into love because you're looking like, what is it I needed to learn? And that's sort of like I think one of the most powerful ways you can move forward.
Yep. Beautiful.
You're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
I feel like you are such a messenger of self-love. And, it's such a positive, force. And I so appreciate and respect and admire everything that you do for empowering, I think, especially women to root into this place, because you've shown us that, we deserve it, and that when you do that, it's like you're this beaming light in the world, and I think you're a beaming light in the world. So
you're a beaming light. Thank you for everything that you do.
I hope that this Real Beauty session was extremely valuable, and if you want to check out Macha, where can people go to find you?
Well, you can go check out, I do a lot of interviews and things on herfuture.com.
Perfect.
And you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter, Macha Einbender. Come check me out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I will speak
Thank you,
to
Lori.
you. Love you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.